Hello friends, hello friends, hello friends, hello friends, hello friends, and welcome to the Union Labor Advisory Network. I'm Mike Fina. ULA's mission and vision is to support, educate, and promote union labor in our communities. There are great careers that you can have within the building trades as well as public sector unions. We're here to shed light on those opportunities, what they're doing, what these jobs are all about, and highlight them across the ULA's platform. Oh, we're going live now. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Union Labor Advisory Network Podcast. I'm Mike Fina. Today, I am extremely proud and privileged to be with new incoming president, Sean Meehan from IBEW Local 25, here with us today to learn a little bit more about his background, history, and experience. Again, just so proud to have you here, proud to work with you, along with all the building trades in Nassau, Suffolk County. Again, I just want to thank you for being here, and maybe you could share or elaborate a little bit more about your background and how you got started.
No problem. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it, and it means a lot to me. And we've been working with you for a while now. On all these events and working with Local 25 on a personal level. It's a pleasure working with you too. I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad we got you on board with us.
Yes, I'm proud to. Again, it just makes me so inspired because my previous history, in the banking world, cash flow of any union organization, we talk about this, is in its membership. So if there's ways to educate, inspire, and promote what these real, true career opportunities can look like, it's really self-fulfilling for me. And to be aligned and work alongside people in leadership like yourself, it just makes me feel really proud. So,
me too. Thanks.
Yeah. So tell us how you got started. How did you become IBEW Local 25 electrician? What got you started in your career?
So my uncle was an IBEW Local 25 member. My father worked for PSE&G. A big union. My cousin started working for Local 25 as well. So I was going to college. I went to college, got my associates in electrical engineering technology, and then just applied here. I was, tired of going to school. So I signed up for 5 more years of apprenticeship school.
Course.
But yeah, it was fun. That's how I kind of got started, through family and and being involved, and I just loved being part of the electrical field, learning a little bit. Even like I said, when I started with electronics, but I moved on to doing electric work, doing stuff with my uncle on the side, doing some residential stuff, and that's just kind of how I got going with it.
How long ago was that?
I've been in the local 33 years. I was, probably working with my uncle, doing some stuff, stripping cables and putting in outlets since I was probably 15 years old. Yeah. But like I said, I'm 53 now, so looking
it's been a long
time.
Years.
Yeah, since I was, like I said, 14 to 15 years old, I've probably been doing this.
Yeah. So the apprenticeship facility at Local 25 too is really incredible. Just to see what IBEW is doing as a whole from an international standpoint and training is incredible.
Yeah, our JATC is far and above most locals that I've ever seen. They're starting to come around. I think we were one of the trendsetters. Chris Kelly, our JATC director, did a fabulous job. Brought our JATC to the new level, into the the 21st century. So now locals are starting to catch up. But we definitely train the best electricians in the country, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, so maybe you could elaborate a little bit more about some of the apprenticeship opportunities within the local as well. How does somebody who has interest get involved? They coming up to your front desk.
There's a few ways. There's the easiest way, I guess, is come down, fill out an application for one of our other divisions, our low voltage, or CECW, which is like our residential / small work kind of stuff. We also have neon sign and pump and tank, and all these other divisions to come down, fill out an application, get some experience. And then you can apply to our A program. Our A program is, like what I am, electrician, a construction electrician, journeyman. Mm-hmm. And that's the best, the best route to go about doing it. You could take some safety classes, some electrical training classes. There's BOCES is, for electrical safety 1 and 2, electrical 1 and 2. That's one route. That's probably the best route. They're kind of looking for people with some sort of experience when you go through the interviews to get into our A construction program.
Right, and I've seen such an influx of opportunities now within the CTE programs for high schools or the rejuvenation of what these programs are starting to be reintegrated into the schools. Because me, again, probably your age as well, I'm 52, so 53. It was I wanted to be into finance. I thought that's where the money was. Right. And my high school didn't have a shop class or any construction type programs that were there, so I just never knew. Yeah,
like you said, that is starting to get integrated now. Like BOCES has it in high school as electrical. There's a few guys that come through, like you said, through high school, signing up for electrical, doing electrical work. And that's one route, gets you involved. We go around, we have, our EWMC, our JATC, they go around to high schools and talk to shop classes or talk to people, just because it's not always, college isn't always the way. College isn't for everybody. And, the trades, and you save all that money in college is, on college, and you go right into a trade. It doesn't have to be electrical, but any of the trades works out that way. And again, like I said, people weren't meant for college, and you could have a full-time career just, being in the business.
Without a doubt. And Sean, I've seen, again, because I'm so entrenched in it, and our foundations, aligned with two different, pillars, obviously on our veterans, community service work, of which you have so many veterans that are, coming through your apprenticeship that work within Local 25. And then, really highlighting these career opportunities within the unionized construction trades as a whole. And seeing how do we integrate or educate the next generation of high school students to get them, one, inspired, but like you mentioned before, you're looking to get some people that have some understanding of what the electrical industry is before you jump into a 5-year apprenticeship.
Yeah, there's a couple other avenues too. Is like you said, you started talking about the veterans. We take a few, 2 or 3 helmets to hard hats every year, direct entry into our program. We have opportunities Long Island. We try to institute some of that. And I think there's a few women's programs out there that I know they're just getting rolling with those, starting to take women directly also. Just to get some more minorities and underprivileged and stuff, and veterans. Listen, veterans deserve the opportunity. These people served our countries and committed their time and lives for years. They should be able to come in and go directly into our programs.
Yeah, and again, I know labor does such a good job and just continuously building upon those particular career opportunities for veterans. And I know our foundation, the Vets for Vets project, is integrated in that, and we're just really learning, like certain VFWs or American Legions have no idea about that particular direct entry program. So the more that we can educate, and with your EWMC division doing so much community service work, educating those VFWs or those veteran locations that house people that have just recently transitioned.
It's actually really surprising to me too. It's like I got to sit in towards the end on some of our apprentice interviews, and some of the veterans that come in, they have no idea about helmets to hard hats or any of these direct entries or even the GI Bill. Like and I'm shocked the military doesn't inform them on it a little more. I mean, we see it, I see it in conferences, and I see it at, in all these different events and stuff that they talk about, the direct entry and the harmless to hard hats and Vets for Vets and all that good stuff, and I just don't think they know. They're not educated on it.
Yeah. And that's, again, for ULA Network, your JATC and the EWMC divisions and all the clubs that you have too, because you gather and connect in some of these other clubs, like the hockey club, 2 years in a row, I think, right?
I'm a little jealous. I'm sorry. I run our softball team, so it's like I get I always bust their chops a little bit about it.
Well, congrats
to them. I mean, it's an amazing thing, and I'm friends with all those guys, and it's an amazing feat. 2 years in a row, stepping up in division and everything else. Good for them. We're happy for them.
But you see, like, again, that brings the camaraderie, the brother sisterhood connecting a little bit more. And you talk about, hey, I want to be part of this organization, this membership group that really provides these benefits, these opportunities to connect with other members. Again, for me, I'm like a person stepping out, just once removed. I'm not a card-carrying member of IBEW 25, but just knowing all the benefits and seeing, as an advocate for everything that you guys do, the amount of benefits, the services, the programs that are available. How do you not want to be part of a membership group that's really looking out for your best interests and pay, benefits, opportunities and continuous learning. Really, I think that's,
it's a constant. I mean, our like I said, our skill improvement classes go on and on for your whole career. I mean, just there's so many different levels of things that you can take in classes just to keep your education going in the electrical field and safety and all different things like that. Going back to what you were just talking about with the involvement and stuff, and we have so many committees and clubs and stuff. And so it's just, I mean, that's one of the biggest things for me, what kept me involved as far as, besides the, running for office and doing things like that, is all the different things, like softball team, like you said, the hockey team. We have, a shooting club. We have a basketball team. We had a lacrosse team, bowling, entertainment, all different things that just to keep you involved. Like for me, that's what I was so involved. I started, our Christmas committee, and then I started, I think it was a second year helper. I started playing softball. I've been playing on the softball team for 30-something years. And they're family. Like everybody in the local for me, like we spend so much time, being involved and coming down and we spend time with these guys on a daily basis. Like everybody in our office, I mean, they're family. They're not friends. They're not, coworkers. They're family. Everybody, and that includes, like you said, everybody down out, that I've been playing softball with for 30-something years. Like guys, we have guys 60-something years old playing on our team because we just have fun. We go to all these events. It's fun. It's not about like, oh, I got to go volunteer for something. It's about having a good time and like you said, you develop a family relationship with all these people. Yeah. And that's what it's been about for me. My whole career is everybody, like you said, even my own family. Like I said, my kids have volunteered and and done walks and done marches and and other family members. The same thing as they come down and they do, just to be involved and to see what it's like. My kids were dressed up in costumes for years, at the Christmas parties. It's fun. It's like, and they love it. That's what they remember.
Yeah, and I think that's what keeps that connection really tight, especially when you're out on the job site too. You're working with your brothers and sisters in the field, dangerous professions.
Yep.
And you're working, for months on end, collectively. You maybe jump to a different job site, maybe work with some different people, but your core group that you stay connected with over the course of years, it just allows you to, work closer together, look out for one another, look out for everybody's best interest. Listen, everybody wants to make money, right? And I think, labor and union labor looks out for the best, making sure that you're getting fair wages, quality benefits, paid fairly, and just looking out for that career opportunity, not just a job.
Yeah, that's a bonus to it. Like you said, it's a family environment, and all those perks will come with a really good salary and all the benefits and retirement. You get to retire with dignity and enjoy yourself. Like I'm taking over for John, John Guadagno, who is retiring the end of this month, and and he's like a brother. You know what I mean? Like he's that guy was one of the most committed people I've ever seen. And his involvement and what he does for this local and how much time he's committed to Local 25 and its members, I mean, I'm going to miss him dearly. I mean, he's, one of my mentors. I mean, he's, me and him work side by side a lot. We get to do a lot of stuff. We get to go to conferences and, every day in the office working together. And, and like I said, he's a brother to me.
Yeah. I don't think John's going anywhere. Although he's maybe retired.
I think you're right.
He'll be emeritus, but he'll be doing.
I think he's going to cook for the whole. He's going to stay involved. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, and your hole's another staple or a meeting point for many locals too. That's right on Motor Parkway in Hauppauge.
Yeah.
Where you host a lot of events, community events as well. So you're bringing people in from multiple segments of industry.
Yeah.
To get an overview and understanding of what your local looks like, the training center looks like, and these particular these career opportunities. Again, I've seen from Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts organizations that come through to get a better understanding, and that's even going to elementary school and even before high school to say, these are what these jobs look like, these are what the opportunities could look like.
Yeah, gives people a chance.
Yeah. And the electrical industry as a whole is really starting to,
evolve.
There's a lot evolve, but there's a lot of work that's starting to really come up too through we talked about this before, some of the data centers.
Yep.
Everybody's talking about that.
The wind farms, the battery storage. These are all good things, and like I said, the data centers. I mean, they're just, throughout the country, there's so many going in, and they're huge. I mean, Long Island, I think it's going to be on a smaller scale and individual just for space and power, but I mean, it creates, I mean, so much work. It's work forever. It's never, just going to constantly evolving.
Yeah, and I think that's the educational aspect too, is being a member of IBEW. You have the ability to continuously learn through your membership and the JETC, to say I can keep increasing my level of expertise, certifications, to make sure that I'm as qualified as I can be to make as much money as I can as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? I mean, I just look at it, these training centers, especially if you're a member, get as many certifications as you can, because it's just padding you're padding that resume.
It just helps you keep employed. It really does.
And that's the thing too, is you're the best qualified person when you have all those certifications. And again, your work ethic, learning from your peers just allows you to be able to do that. And I think if you have those qualifications, that skill set, and can learn from your peers that have done it successfully, you can have a really good career. People always talk about, I can't find work. If you're good at what you do, I don't think you'll ever be out of work. You'll always be able to find a job.
And that's the truth. Is I remember, when I first started as a helper, I started as a telephone helper myself, and I remember one of the guys, I was first working with, one of my first journeymen, and he goes, "Kid, this is going to be one of the best part-time jobs you'll ever have." And listen, there are there times construction is cyclical. It's sometimes you're busy and sometimes it's slow. But I mean, we've had a good run for 10 years where we've had full employment and travelers. Kevin Casey and and everybody else that in our local has done a good job working in our office, has done a good job, and good economy helps everything too. But I mean, we've, knock on wood, we've been very fortunate the last 10 years with construction.
Yeah, and again, having the privilege and opportunities to sit down with Kevin and with John, just to talk about work as a whole and like how you've been busy. Some of the signatory contractors that you have on the islands in the areas that your jurisdiction. These are some really super qualified organizations that are hiring your members.
Yep.
That are doing phenomenal work. And again, I've had the privilege to meet some of those particular signatories at some of your award ceremonies.
Oh yeah.
But these are people that we need to highlight because they, one, believe in union labor. They're hiring the members out of the training center, and they're doing some incredible work, like you talked about, from wind farms to data centers to hospitals and universities.
Schools. Yeah, it's all. I mean, those are all good things, and like absolutely. I mean, our contractors. I mean, they do well. They do well, and they're in. A lot of them have their own niches, but things. They do well. For the most part, trying to get keeping our guys working and creating a lot of work.
Yes, absolutely. Now I got a couple questions here
Sure.
too. We're like BS and throwing it all out there, but again, just wanted to from a personal journey. Who are some of the mentors of union or union leaders that had a major impact on your career and leadership style? And I know you mentioned John before. Yeah. Maybe some other groups that.
I mean, it all started with my uncle. My uncle, we worked, probably 40-something years, and local 25, and he did some traveling after he kind of semi-retired and worked, in other states doing stuff, and one of the smartest, people I've ever met, especially in this trade. And everybody that knew him, like he was, he's Mr. Friendly. He talks to everybody. He was, there was never a negative word ever said about the guy, said about him. He's still kicking around. He's, like you said, he's like a second father to me. And he was my biggest influence. And again, and then there's also, plenty of teachers that I've had, working with Kevin Casey the last, 10 years in the office, plus before we knew each other. There's a lot of people, like I said, different teachers that I've had in the past. But those, like I said, my uncle to me, like I said, he's like a second father, and, he's a great person to emulate myself after.
Right. I'd like to take a moment to thank IBEW Local 25 for all their support and believing in the ULA Network and ULA Network's Charitable Foundation's mission to support, educate, and promote union labor in our communities. What are some of the biggest opportunities you see right now for union electricians and organized labor across New York? Would that be the data centers and some of these?
Yeah, I mean,
opportunities that
moving
you see?
forward with, I guess, futuristic, stuff as, like I said, the data centers, the battery storage. I don't know how much more wind, they're going to keep going with, but that's all stuff that's new. All the newer technology. I mean, with a ton of work in hospitals, and schools are always evolving and trying to keep updated with the latest and greatest things going on. So that's always a good thing for us. It keeps us busy. As far as I know, I mean, we don't have too much industry, with different aspects of things, but we're not a very industrial area. It just there's no room for it. So I mean, mostly, like you said, hospitals and the data centers and the battery storage is all new stuff that that's kind of advancing us a little bit.
Belmont too, right?
Oh yeah, we got the racetrack going on, UBS Arena we just completed a couple years ago. They're talking about if they ever do the airport, MacArthur Airport, they're talking about doing that hub there. Ronkonkoma hub currently is going on now too. That's just been phases. Billions of dollars are being spent to revitalize that area, and it's going well. I mean, everything's just slowly. It's a long stretch, which is good. Instead of everything at once, keep it spread out. Oh, another thing is we have the light source, the new light source they're going to put at Brookhaven Lab. That's a huge project, another collider that they're going to replace the old one and redo that whole thing, which is for scientific purposes. And I worked there for 10 years, and that's like a city within a city.
Really?
It's definitely its own world.
Okay.
And when they start that, they're prepping all that project now, like doing all the preliminary work, and that's going to lead to a ton of work. It started as a $4 billion project. I'm sure it's a lot bigger than that now. I think it's probably up to like 6 or 7.
That's multi-trade?
Multi-trade, that's every trade. It's a huge, huge project.
So, yeah.
All the preliminary, I think they're putting a hotel there. There's all different things there, subsidiary buildings, but basically for, to do an ion collider.
Gotcha. How can unions continue to help bridge the gap between high school, CTE programs, veterans, and career opportunities? And I know we touched upon this a little bit too, but are there any things that you think, in going into a new leadership role, that we can do better or help to bridge that gap a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, keep doing what we're doing. I said, with social media becoming, you taking the lead with us and really getting us into the future and keeping us informed and keeping everybody that we're involved with informed now. Just keep doing what we're doing with the education, going to the schools, going into the job fairs, going to, political events and publicizing what we do and how to keep things going that way.
Gotcha. These kind of fall in suit too, and I feel like I can answer some of these questions because I'm like, I've answered them so many times. But what role does mentorship play in helping apprentices succeed both professionally and personally? And you could probably go back, like you mentioned, to your uncle.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of these, what's happening within other training centers, but maybe you could elaborate a little bit more about mentorship.
Yeah, I mean, we have our teachers, take a role in that as well. As far as, keeping kids, like we used to have a mentoring program. It was started years ago, and we got involved, and I had a couple mentees, and it again, if on journeymen and teachers on the job, when they're on the job, just be more personal. That goes a long way with special, because this isn't easy. A lot of people, some people it comes easy for, some people it's not. But to be friendly and have an open relationship with the people you're working for, with these apprentices, and teach them, treat them like their family, treat them like this, so as we treat them, not just as a tool to be used in the field. I mean, it goes a long way and helps these kids, and these journeywomen and men, get through the program, and like I said, our teachers play a big role in that too. They do the right job, and they respect, they're really respected because of it. Yeah,
and for me, Sean, too, again, having the privilege of going through so many different training centers, which for me, I always say these are universities. These are the best in class schools that you can get.
Oh yeah.
If you're fortunate enough and get that golden ticket, that union opportunity to go through an apprenticeship, of which is paid for. and you're learning. So again, college there's no college debt. You have the opportunity to learn there.
Yep.
That mentorship that's involved as well helps that 5-year or 4-year apprenticeship. I mean, it's not easy, like you mentioned before. So to be able to have a mentor that's gone through those particular programs, you can fight through this, or you can go through these opportunities, or just have somebody to reach out to. I think it helps with the retention rates, I guess the graduation rates.
Yeah, even and again, some I guess some apprentices and stuff aren't as comfortable with their teachers, but we're always our office is always open. Our guys, Tim, Jack, all the guys, Kevin, everybody that's in our office, Chris and Tommy. I mean, we're open. Give us a call, and we're always here for us. And we try to we express that to people. I know John and Kevin go to the apprentices right out of the gate in the first year and talk to the new classes. I've done it a few times myself with them. And we're open. Hey, give us a call. You got any questions, a foreman or whatever it is. If you don't feel comfortable going to whoever, come to us. That's where we're here.
Right.
We're here to help you and be a liaison with you guys as well.
That's great. And again, having that communication and access to leadership. Again, sometimes you learn from your peers. Leadership's something that ivory tower. Like, I don't know how to talk to Sean. He's the president now. But we're all people looking out for your best.
Yeah, like I said, I'm an electrician. I'm an electrician like everybody else. That in our local, and like you said, we're just people. We're no different. We have to make some decisions sometimes, but we're here. We're here for them. That's why we get paid. They pay our salaries, and we're here for them.
Absolutely.
So anything we need, that's what we're here for.
And that's being part of it, being a good leader. Looking out for your best interest, and these are union organizations, these are membership organizations, so you have to make sure that you have that membership group is trained and dedicated, from top down, because the strength in numbers, and you want everybody represented in the best possible light. I believe, when you're wearing that logo, you got that IBEW 25,
Yep.
out there, it's, you represent, the thousands of members that are underneath
right.
that
And we
brand.
say that too, we have a trip coming up, a softball tournament like this, the hockey team just did the same thing, and that's expressed to the guys like, hey, listen, you're representing local 25, that's show, and it always comes back that way, like, hey, local 25 is they're respectful people, and they go out of their way and win brotherhood awards and stuff like that, because they know to represent. You're not representing yourself, you're representing the local. You're wearing that that bug and a thing that says local 25 on it, and that means a lot to a lot of people, and they don't people don't take kindly to disrespecting it. So
absolutely. Again, we go to conferences, people boozing sometimes. You've got have a good time, build some camaraderie and relationships, but just know what you're there for, and to represent your members and their best interest. And for me, going through all these conferences as well, it's like you're trying to learn and find, meet people to find those best practices so that you can relay that information down the pipe.
Absolutely.
And then that's just what gets me great. One thing I wanted to bring up too, again, being in May is Mental Health Awareness Month too, and all the MAP or EAP particular programs. Mm-hmm. Maybe you could elaborate a little bit more about some of the services that you provide through your local as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we have the EAP program, and like I said, people, because you're seeing that more and more nowadays, and there's between addiction and, like I said, just some people with mental health issues, and we're here for that. Even just us as there's a lot of stuff that our office that people don't know about, that people come in and do have issues, whether it's a substance issue or where it's just, hey, listen, they're having a tough go of things. And they'll come in and they'll talk to us, like Kevin. Kevin's door's open always, and and they come in and they talk, and and we try to help them, and then we maybe direct them to EAP. Maybe that's something that's necessary for them, and that goes a long way. It's helped a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, absolutely. Again, I see it, and again, these are just value-added services that really round out what a true career opportunity looks like within the unionized,
Yeah, and it's not, and like I said, it's not just regular members. It's friends, calling you up like, hey, listen, I'm having a rough go of stuff, and and talking them through it. And we take classes and stuff on it, and a lot of seminars, and on these conferences they talk about how mental health is a big thing these days, and things that we can do to help these people and get them the help that they need if necessary.
Right. and again, I think we might have touched upon this, but maybe you could elaborate a little bit more, is how can unions continue creating stronger cultures of support, mentorship, and unity for members and families?
Involvement. It's coming down, people, coming down and seeing what we have here, what we have in our local, and what we do for the communities. It really, it chokes people up when you go out to and help people, and that's in the regular community that are people that are struggling or underprivileged. And I mean, I got the opportunity to go to the Navajo Nation. Me and a couple guys from the office went, and it was me, Ricky, and Chris from the office, and we went there and spent 2 weeks working at people. In the Navajo Nation, there's over 11,000 people that don't have power, and I think there's 13,000 that don't have running water. And we went out there and literally put electric in these people's houses, and I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere, and these are like dirt shacks, like there's these little basically huts that they're living in, and they have nothing, and it's, I guess, in the middle of nowhere, and and
this is America too, right?
It's America.
Yeah,
it's crazy. These people started before us. They've been here since the beginning of time, and my personal opinion, the government should be way more involved, and it's the IBEW in general that has this, Light Up Navajo, it's called, and we have members from Boston, New York City, California. They're out there, every week for probably 6 months. They're going out there and trying to hook these people and get them electric.
Yeah, and that's all the volunteer that sometimes goes unnoticed. You have these particular programs. You made mention of it today. I hope to get more information about that so we can showcase and really highlight those particular programs. Again, just driving back on Monday, like on Sunday, I got a call from Chris Erickson, retired now, but talks about all the volunteer work or the nonprofit organizations that he's affiliated with, as you are, as John is as well. And if you really step back and look at union leadership and the organizations that they're involved in that really support community service, these programs like that, it's just incredible. And the amount of man hours that have been donated.
Yep.
Platforms like this are the ones that need to be able to showcase and pound your chest for you, because
we've done a lot of, especially our EWMC have done a lot of volunteer work at VFWs and Knights of Columbuses, and anything that we can help people that just the money isn't there for these people, to fix up their their clubhouses and their places of what they're doing, churches, underprivileged areas, and it's huge. I mean, like you said, you see the reaction of these people and how appreciative of us helping out. It's not just the electricians; it's all trades. They all get involved.
Well, that's for me. That's why I'm a Rotarian, a Rotary Club, and that their motto is service above self. I look at union labor and the members that are going through these apprenticeships that have found this opportunity, this golden ticket, this career, and that want to do that volunteer and give back like your EWMC divisions. And that's where I want to be. That's the involvement and the connections, because I feel like we're all aligned in trying to do good for our communities and giving back, because a well-established community, people spending money, being able to live the life that they want, be able to raise a family, are all very important things. And I look at today's world, it's rapidly changing with AI and jobs being repositioned.
Yeah, that's a big concern for everybody. I mean, like you said, the AI, taking over a lot of jobs, and we have to retool to adjust accordingly. Yep,
and that's where, again, as leaders, as training centers that fall within this particular technology space, it's making sure that next generation is well equipped to be able to be diversified. And equipped to be able to have these particular careers that may not get replaced, but utilizing this technology as well to enhance these career opportunities.
Absolutely.
All right, Sean, what's going on here? Let's see what we got here. What motivates you every day to continue serving the membership?
I mean, I love coming to work every day. I love working with the guys that I come with. I mean, I always did in the field, but the guys that I work with in my office, right down the line, every one of them, and and even the girls in the office, we have fun. It's not work to me anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you work in the field, you're working hard, you're busting your ass, and and you develop, like you said, that family thing, that family relationship. But now it's like you said, I come to work, I get to help people, I get to go visit guys on jobs, I get people coming into the hall. We deal with politicians and other trades. There, our hall is a meeting hall for everybody, and the amount of people and different in every aspects of life that you get to through our hall, and people that we get to work with on a daily basis. That's my motivation. I love it. I love helping people. I love going out and doing the right thing. And, that to me is my motivation.
Yeah. I mean, you could see, shaping the next generation of
Shaping the next generation, absolutely.
That's, again, I'm just privileged to work with you guys, but you just know where everybody's heart is. And sometimes that's not always there, but like to see true dedication and passion and drive coming from leadership really makes me proud to, again, work. And I feel like I'm not. Yeah,
we're all officers and our office staff and everybody. That's how we that's how we go. It's why we're here now is because of that's our motivation. That's our goal. That's just is to help everybody and make our union strive and get everybody working.
Right. No, I couldn't agree more. What advice would you give to the next generation of labor leaders coming up behind you now that you're taking one of the leadership roles at 25?
That's a tough one. I mean, you gotta, like you said, it's just being involved and being passionate about it and believe in what you're doing and mean what you say and try to do the right thing by everybody. Be honest, be straightforward, tell everybody how it is, and help out whenever you can. Help people, and people appreciate you being straightforward and honest and wanting to see your passion for the business, see your passion for helping people and helping our brothers and sisters from your local.
Right. And it's funny because we talked about this a little bit earlier too. Like as you're starting to do some interviews with different apprentices or people coming on board, giving that right direction, for good or bad, or just say, just trying to guide them, say this is the way you should be presenting yourself or the questions you should be asking.
It's not about it's about helping. It's it's just about showing them the right way, showing them how to present yourself, how to be a person, how to help other people.
Yep. No, absolutely. And again, you interview so many different potential candidates for employment.
Oh yeah.
It runs the gamut. So I'm sure you have stories in that regard. Like how did this person get here?
Yeah, we've had that before too.
But then you got the rock stars that are out there now just doing some phenomenal work. And again, for me with social media, we're talking about this too, is just showcasing that work.
It's big. Like this, and surprisingly, not surprisingly, but how much social media shapes the world these days. Like everybody's on social media. I'm just as bad. You're just looking at your phone all the time, and you see all these pop-ups, and you see people doing the right thing. You see what it's about. Like you said, college isn't for anybody. This is an option. Now you look at this on my phone. Be an electrician. Be a plumber. Be an engineer. Whatever.
And that's where you start to flood the market with information, and hopefully, again, for us, it's support, educate, promote union labor in our communities.
And you guys are doing an awesome job. I like watching your reels all the time. Honestly,
we're gonna get more of you on it too. We'll get
enough of me.
But it's the members, and they have these particular stories, and people are vlogging their job and their careers. As long as they're wearing their PPE and doing the right stuff, and not showcasing the bad things that people don't necessarily want to be involved in, but showcasing the craftsmanship, the artwork, the way I consider it, an artwork. I mean, these people, men and women that are doing this particular job, it's a craft that
there's so many people in our industry in our trade. It is artwork. I've been in electrical closets and electric rooms and power plants, and I mean some of the work that these guys do. I mean, even from just doing low voltage addressing stuff and it is artwork. You walk into a room that's done right, And again, I think most, construction is, I'm always looking. I'm always looking at the ceiling. I'm always looking at other stuff. And when you see good work and you see professionalism, it means a lot to us. I mean, to us as in the trades.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what gets me. Everybody interviews, like if you're in the trades and you've built something and you're going down the street, that I built that. Take a look at this.
Yeah, I was on that job.
I was on that job.
Yeah.
And that you hear it from everybody, and it brings really a sense of pride, and just excitement to I guess that next generation, because some of these things that you've built will stand the test of time or be there for long after we're even around. And it's like, oh, we got to rewire this, but it's been done like 20 years ago. Sean put that in there.
That's right. And listen, that was one thing too. Back in the day, we had we had stickers like this job was done by so and so. You'd open an electrical panel and you'd see somebody's name, like it says IBEW Local 25, and there's a guy with his card number. The guy's name and his card number would be on there, and it was like, oh wow, right, that's that guy was proud of what he did.
Absolutely, it's cool.
It is cool.
Again. So I want to thank you for everything that you do. I'm so excited for your
Thank you, Mike. I can't
elevation.
wait. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for it too.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
You're gonna be doing phenomenal work. I'm proud to work with you. Proud to see your success. Proud to work with your training center. Closing question for you. So, Sean, for anyone listening who may be interested in a union electrical career or learning more about organized labor, what final message would you like to leave with them?
Hey, be sure with what that you want to do. Come in, learn about it. Take some classes. Find out if it's what you want to do as a career, because it's not an easy work. It's not easy work. It's hard work being out there. And if it's something you're passionate about, come in, get involved, do the right thing. Go to like you said, take safety classes, take electrical classes. Get a job, in the field. See if it is really what you want. And I kind of think it's one of our process now is that, hey, you got to work a little bit and see what it's like, because you have guys come and go, and you want to retain. We have a very good retaining in our industry. We want to keep it that way.
Yeah, it's just getting that pre. You're getting the feel of what this particular profession can look like.
Yep.
And I know because there's so many diversified roles you can take as an electrician.
Yep.
You look at other trades too. There's multiple positions that you could fall into. So it's like finding that passion.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, we have traffic, and we have just the regular guys working power plants, guys that do control work, guys that do neon signs. It's telephone, data work, all that stuff is just there is a niche for everybody.
Yeah, and as long as they could find out and learn about it and find that
ahead of time,
ahead of time, then they'll know what they're getting themselves into.
Yep.
And then we talk about like retention rates, and just people being at a younger age, their working career too.
Yeah.
Before we close too, I heard, from what I understand, like on average, the typical graduating apprentice is around 29 years old.
Yeah, it's probably about
around
right. Yeah.
And at that point, it's like, hey, you're almost 30 years old now, just going into full boat. Where if you learned this, or you went from high school, got your training, you'd be that much younger.
Yeah, you don't have $100,000 or plus nowadays. It's probably $200,000 worth of college debt, and you went and got your degree and decided that's not what you wanted. And now you're going into the field anyway. So like you said, you're starting later. They're graduating at 29 instead of, like I said, I got in when I was 20 years old. I went to college for 2 years, and then I started when I was 20. And, I knew that's what I wanted to do. So, and thank God I did it,
I think, parents today can say, hey, if we're going into the trades, it's something really good and special to be part of.
That's right. Being part of a union, in
the
building trades, it's, like I said, it brings dignity to your family, your retirement, everything, medical coverage, all that stuff is just amazing. You don't get everywhere, especially in the non-union field. There's this, these guys are barely getting by.
Right. And then as an apprentice, you still can get your bachelor's. There's accreditation courses where you're in a 4-year or 5-year apprenticeship. You could still get your bachelor's degree because of all the overlap of like educational initiatives that are
you get credits. You get college credits technically if you apply. Your apprenticeship gives you credits.
Yep.
Towards college.
Right. Yeah. There's some universities that allow you to put that in, like the Rowan Colleges of the world and other programs.
Cornell. I think Cornell's got it. It's another one that's got a electrical electrical degree,
Right.
or construction fields and stuff like that.
So it's out there. If everybody's listening, this is an opportunity for you. To learn more about all the different skilled trades. You can go to New York State Building and Construction Trades, or as well as Nassau Suffolk Building and Construction Trades to learn more about IBEW Local 25. Again, Sean, I just want to thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you, Mike.
Again, Union Labor Advisory Network is here to support, educate, and promote union labor in our communities, showcase some incredible people, some inspiring people. And again, I just want to thank you for all you do, and let's keep rocking.
Thank you, Mike. Absolutely. Let's keep rocking along. Thank you.
Wish you all the best in your career.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you, buddy.
I'd like to thank all our sponsors for helping to build and promote the ULA Network. It is because of you that we're able to support, educate, and promote informative content relevant to labor. Please subscribe, like, and share our channel and media. I'd like to thank you all for your support.